Hello, Moral, and welcome to Speaking of Everything. With me is a very interesting guest here every year. It's the Ombudsman of St. Martin, Ombudsman Mossel. How are you doing?
Hi, Oral. I'm good. Thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to be here.
Always good to have you in the program to speak about a little bit of everything that you're doing, right?
Yes, always good to spread awareness on the role and the task of the Ombudsman. Yes.
So how are things going so far with you?
Well, I am well pleased. 6 years now since I was appointed as Ombudsman, and I am well pleased with our accomplishments. I didn't do it alone, of course. We have a strong, dynamic team, 6 persons in total, including myself. I would like to thank my team for always being there on the ball. We have Randolph Duggins, the Secretary General, Aishira Cecilia, the legal advisor, Aisha Thomas, in a newly addition as an investigator, Kelston Brooks, investigator, and our heartbeat of the office, Miss Vanessa Hartrecht. And I commend each and every one of them because it's a team effort, and everyone is really into the work and goes the extra mile when it comes to complaints filed against government and any other complaint, because as you know, we also serve as some kind of legal desk. We have people come for every and anything to our office, and we always help, we always do our best. And, we cannot go in detail, but we send them to the right organization, office, or where they have to be. So that is something that is ongoing. I will maybe give a little explanation for those who don't know what is the role or the task of the Ombudsman. The Ombudsman investigates complaints filed against government, and it has to be regarding their behavior in their dealing with the public. Yes, and we look at the standards of good conduct, principles of propriety. Was it proper, the way that government behaved and handled in certain cases? We can do this based on complaints filed, but we can also do it on our own motions, systemics, investigations. Then we will not only look at the complaint, but we will look at the whole entire policy, law, and everything that comes with it. Yes, once we have investigated, then we will first say which standards were not complied with. I can say that over all the years, it has been the same top 3 standards, be it in a different order, that have been violated, which is information provision, adequate and active and adequate information provision, promptness, providing a response, within the legal time frame or reasonable time frame, and adequate organization of services, meaning having the right for personnel, being able to adequately address the public, address their issues, not come back, not I can't find it, Those are the 3 top standards that are violated. And then we give recommendations. And that is actually the part that once we give recommendations, usually 99% government accepts our recommendations.
Really?
Yes, they do.
But that's good.
But
it never used to be like that.
They do accept it. They do agree with our recommendation, but then the execution part, that is the most important aspect.
And that doesn't happen.
And that is where, we lack, but not always, because I must say that I am, elated to say that in some cases I see where they really follow up on our recommendations. And for instance, I am the Ministry of TIAT. They have a new, with the driver's license, the theoretical part is now, they have changed it. It's online.
Yeah.
But when when the review committee would review whether or not, if someone has an objection, they didn't have a policy in place, and they would just, pick and choose, or however, maybe one does it one way, the other way. So it was not transparent. And so we issued a recommendation stating, hey, you have to put a policy in place where the objection procedure is clearly outlined,
right,
and for the public to see, but also for them to follow. And they did it.
Really?
And they even published it in the newspaper. I was so happy to see that. So those are the aspects that makes me glad. Also with the tax office, and I remember, I think, being right here in your office also talking about those issues, where they provide more information. Tax is something, it's very complicated. A lot of people don't understand it, even myself, but if someone get an assessment, at least have either in the back or at the bottom information how to file an objection, how long that objection period will take, because it's about 9 months
but
according to the law.
Right? They do not know.
Yes. So we told them, and also not only that, but that they also say, hey, that you have to send a separate message or to the receiver's office,
Okay.
to halt the payment.
Oh, because that's where the conflict.
That is where,
yeah,
yes,
right.
you see, to halt the payment, so that at least you wait until after the objection and then it continues. Because a lot of people, they were still, getting the receiver's office,
Right,
to keep asking for payment.
Right.
Yes. So that we have seen that has happened. And in some other cases where ministries really follow up and where we see it, that is a pleasure, and that is what it's about. And it is sad to see in some cases where we did like, for instance, the rent tribunal. We have done an systemic investigation, an own motion investigation after the hurricane, when they were not functioning. And we have reached a long way with government regarding our recommendations.
But they're functioning now, though, right?
But as of late, we have seen, we just had concluded an investigation where we see that actually we are almost back to square one. With the rent tribunal? With the rent tribunal, when it concerns their operations. What happened is this person requested in 2019 for an assessment. They made renovations and they asked the rent tribunal to come because they want to raise the rent. However, they didn't hear any, so they came, they did the assessment, but then they never heard anything again. They keep asking 2020 until 2024 when they came to us. And then they were told to submit it again, to resubmit the same assessment. After what, 2 years, 3 years, 2022. 2019, sorry,
so
forgive me for the time, 5 years.
Yeah.
And what happened now is, again, they had to wait. It took at least 6 months for them to come and assess, and for her finally to get the decision that she is allowed to raise the rent.
But not every person fall under that in terms of rental, right?
No. It's still there's a max.
Yeah, there's a cutoff point based on the value of the construction.
Based on the value of the home and the construction, yes. But this person, what I'm trying to say is that we, through our investigation, it became apparent that the rent tribunal again is functioning with a skeleton staff. Also, they don't have the equipment, they don't have the printer that they need. Printing is apparently happening by the acting board member, by the acting director of the board from the rent tribunal. the acting chair. And there were some members that are also dealing with health issues.
So they don't have a budget and not assigned to them?
They have a budget, but I guess it's not sufficient, which is something that we addressed in the past. This is what I was trying to say, that we give recommendations. And they did, and in the past, they got an office manager, a young lady, and she worked and got it going. They used to come by us to print, and it seems that they are back, at that point. So that is what I'm saying, that, I'm sorry to see that sometimes we still go back in the same. While the rent tribunal is so important for so many, because many people rent, and if you want to make changes, you need a rent tribunal. So the rent tribunal must function. So they need all the necessary.
They need the manpower.
Yes, the manpower, but also equipment, everything to execute their tasks according to the law. Another one that we recently got complaints from is the St. Martin Housing Development Foundation. We got a group of tenants that received a letter that they were in arrears, that they were in arrears, and it's a considerable amount. Apparently, according to the St. Martin Housing Development Foundation, the rent was raised because renovations had taken place. However, according to some of the complainants, that was even though they say they did renovations, they still have roofs that are leaking. They still have issues that have not been fixed, and so they were not in agreement. They had talks. They also sent a letter to the minister since 2022. A group of 20 tenants, no responses from the minister. These are people with low income, pensionable age. And you can imagine what this does to a person when you get letters like that. You're in arrears with considerable amounts, but there is no communication. Talking about St. Martin Housing Foundation, we will do a mediation in this case, or we will try to mediate, have a meeting with both SMAGF and the tenants to try to see what the issue is. However, what I want to say is that in our home repair report, we gave recommendations as well. We spoke a lot also about the St. Martin House and the issues that they face and have with, tenants not paying rent or renovations that are not being done accurately, adequately. The different issues also, of course, they have so many. I think they have about what we recently find out, about 6,000 people on the waiting list.
It's going to 6,000 now?
On the waiting list.
Wow. The last time I heard it was 5,000.
For social housing. It's about 6,000 now. So these are issues that we have addressed in the past during our outreach. This came forward. This was 2019. We gave recommendations. We had conversations, and to see, issues again regarding no non-payment of some of the tenants based on renovations or no renovations done.
Ombudsman, 6,000 on a waiting list. Do you think that's an accurate number?
That is the number that we received from them.
I'm just blown away.
Yes,
that's a lot of people.
It's a serious situation that we have. I mean, it was serious that but that is what we said. Remember, it was a home repair revelation of a social crisis, and this is a part of it. And if we don't regulate even what we have, we can't even build more, but we have issues even with tenants. We can't keep up with whatever renovations, or even some of them get a subsidy. That was also something that was mentioned, that they need to actually, this is a part of the public then, you have to show that you need subsidy. But apparently what used to happen in the past is that government's supposed to supply that part, and that wasn't happening. And if you have to pay that part still and you've been put in arrears, we have a problem.
Right.
Because, based on your salary, you cannot afford the higher rent. So those are issues that we will, again, look into, but they are aspects that are not new.
But when it comes to St. Martin Housing Foundation, though, what has been the cooperation with them? Have they been cooperative with the Ombudsman?
Yes, they have. They have been cooperative. We are, for instance, in this situation, it is an intervention because it was a group that came to our office and we made a call and we had a discussion and we will meet. So we will try to mediate in this case. So as I was saying in the beginning, that, or maybe I didn't mention it, but that we try our best to do interventions in order to come to a quick solution for people. So in this case, we made a phone call and we will be having a meeting with them. They will have a meeting with the tenants and we will be there in order to find out exactly what the situation is. We also try to do site visits. We do that a lot more to understand the situation on the ground. Especially, we have a lot of complaints regarding for the inspection, that they are building without a permit, that it's over the border, or garages that are operating without a permit,
etc. You get all of that too, yeah?
Yeah, so we would go on site now. So we are actually a little more active. We do a lot more to try to understand, but also be accurate in our information.
The last time I had you, there was an issue with a garage, I think in Colby or something like that.
Correct.
Was that resolved?
That was recently, but it was
a little over
right after I came back, I think, from the conference in the Netherlands. We had a press release on it because we finalized that.
That took over a year.
And yeah, but that up to now, the person did not get a response to their objection to providing a hindrance permit to the garage. They're operating without a hindrance permit, and the inspection did not do the thorough inspection to be able to say, hey, it is a hinder or it's not a hinder, and also what we realized was that there was between giving a business license and, of course, the hindrance permit that comes with it, the two ministries were not really working together, and TEAT would issue based on their laws and execute accordingly, and then you had FROMI on the other hand have their own regulations, and that in the end caused garages to be operating without sometimes any permits.
In case you've just joined us, this is Speaking About It. I'm Gebe. I'm speaking with the Ombudsman of St. Martin, Ombudsman Mossel. You're either watching us on YouTube, Facebook, or listening to us on Hot 99.9 FM radio. When we come back, we'll continue with Ombudsman right here on Speaking About Everything. Please do this.
We are vibrant, expressive, warm, and diverse. Together, we conquer, and now we expand into new horizons, giving you more of the best. Introducing our new Bankomatico Plus with wider acceptance, purchase protection, and enhanced security. Whether you're online, traveling, or in paradise, experience more with Windward Island Bank. Bankomatico Plus.
My guest on Speaking About Everything is Ombudsman for St. Martin, Ombudsman Mossel. You're watching us on YouTube, Facebook, or listening to us on Hot 99.9 FM radio. So how is this always resolved? You got to meet with the different government agencies?
Yes, so this is also another tactic that we have to try to resolve. We did an interministerial meeting. We held an interministerial meeting with the Ministry of Teat, the Ministry of Vromi, and of Justice as well. And we had fruitful discussions, and they made agreements with each other. And anytime the Ministry of Teat would issue a business license for a garage, they would first check with the Ministry of Vromi if they have a hindrance permit. So that is a good outcome.
That's good. I have a question to ask you, and I know I've asked you this question, and also I've asked it to the Ombudsman before you, but I have to ask you because people will meet me tomorrow and say, you didn't ask her that question when I know the answer already, and it's kind of like fruitless, but I'm going to ask you anyway.
Okay.
GEBE. Everybody wants to know with all this issue, with all this problem going on, they cannot complain to the Ombudsman, right?
No. But as I said, we do try and help, and we do have a lot of complaints regarding the billing, the high bills.
Still coming to you?
Still.
Wow.
Regarding high bills. Well, of lately, but because we have our year report coming out 2023, we had quite a few who came. It was mostly about high bills that they were not getting through with GEB, their complaint procedures or their complaint office where they can complain. They were not being helped. And so we would try to directly intervene because otherwise they would get caught because they know that bill is too high. Some were told that they have a leak somewhere, various issues. No, we do not have authority to investigate complaints against GB. However, we are busy amending our legislation where that should also be included. With that, I would like to add that we will be having, this is maybe coming from left field a bit, but the reason why I'm saying it is because we are getting an ombudsman in Aruba shortly. I think they will be appointed in July or maybe this summer or in any case soon enough. And in their legislation, they have the government-owned companies such as GB also included in their legislation already.
And that was a mistake made hence in Mara that it didn't include government-owned companies at the time.
At the time, yes. So we are busy amending our law, and we are also looking into, of course, on children's ombudsman based on the International Convention Human Rights of the Child. That is also something that we didn't have. Curacao has it, Aruba has it, the Netherlands has it. So we will see some changes within our organization as well.
That's good.
Some growth.
Yeah, 6 years. What's the term of the ombudsman?
7.
So you have 1 more year.
Yes.
And then normally they'll renew.
Yes, you can for continuity.
Yeah.
You there's another 7 years. For continuity.
It's such a daunting task for you on this island.
Well, I wouldn't say that. I love what I do, and the thing is that we try to find different ways to still get answers, to still help. You have to become creative.
But it's tough. You had ministers spar with you.
Yes, it is tough, but you still continue, and then this is where our democracy comes in, our system, where we do what we have to do, and then it is up to Parliament to do the rest.
Yeah, I mean, the last time you were like a sheriff in town, man. You were like a sheriff
in town?
That was probably.
Oh, wow.
That was unfortunate, but you stood your ground. That's the most important thing.
I would just say that I did my job according to what is expected of me, and whatever the outcome may be, if that is what Parliament decide, that is what Parliament decide. That is our system.
You know,
Yeah.
Most people want to be ombudsman in St. Martin because everything is taken so personally.
Yes, and that is yeah. We have said it often in our different reports that it seems that they don't understand the task of the ombudsman, of the role of the ombudsman, within the society, and actually it is to improve our public service. It is to promote good governance. It is, but that is, if you would talk to a group of ombudsmen, that is the way it is, so it's good to meet from time to time with them. We share experiences where that is concerned. Some would tell you it's a lonely place, but I find overall that it is a well-worthy job or a task, in the interest of the public, the people of St. Martin.
But you just came back from Europe or attended an ombudsman conference there?
Yes.
What was that like?
Yes, we had an international ombudsman from the International Ombudsman Institution.
Yeah.
We have every 4 years we have a conference. Ombudsmen meet from all over the world, and we share best practices. We have different presentations where we can share, and I was able to share on cyberbullying. It's a new topic for all of us, but it is something that is on the rise, and we were able to see, hey, is there a role for the ombudsman to play? Here in St. Martin, what I have seen is that it is prevalent, but it is quite hushed. Schools do deal with it. However, they don't want to bring it out.
Right.
They don't collect the data. They don't keep record. What happens is if a case comes about, they would just address it and continue. But it is good to collect the data for us to look into it, because it is on the rise. And according to press statements, releases, we have seen the police also indicating that apparently the different school fights that have been going on, that also has a lot to do with cyberbullying, and that they would react in that way by having fights. And of course there are other attributions, but that was one of them. But this is something that is new, and it was nice to share on that topic of cyberbullying.
All because of social media and the phone.
That's right. And we have a system now, bring your own device. We as government, of course, we cannot afford to have a device for everyone in the classrooms. And so we do allow children, the schools allow them to bring their devices. And that is opportunity, to do these aspects. There is one example where I think even in the primary school, where one student even logged into another student's device and filled in wrong answers to a test. So children get very creative.
Wow.
Yeah. But this is something that is new also to us as ombudsman, but I believe that we can help in the areas where most of the time what we have seen, and one example is where people who come forward are being victimized over again, especially when it has to do with situations where a boy is being catfished by an adult man, pretending to be
they do that?
a young boy. Was an adult hiding behind the face of a young girl, pretending to be that nice young girl, which is also someone who lives here on the island.
Wow.
And when they brought it forward to the police, it was more brushed off. Our thoughts about gay, that they say, you're just not happy that, that is their preference or whatever. They say, no, this is not that. He's being catfished. It is a adult behind it. Later, they gathered more evidence on the case, and then they went to the public prosecutor, and where it was clearly shown that indeed it was an adult, and that he had been actually doing this to several young boys. I wouldn't go there with what all they had to do, but that besides the boy, that also the girl, the picture, the image that was used, that she was being harassed by other boys on the street. And she also, her parents also filed a complaint. But it costs their, it affects the mental health of students. Yeah. Some to the point where they would like to take their own life. And we have seen that happen before. And there was a case recently in Curacao where that was an attempt to jump off the school roof. And the ombudsman there actually has started an investigation. That was also recently last month when this took place. And what we are seeing is that the schools are reluctant to give information. They don't want to say. But apparently there was more going on in that situation in Curacao. But it was good to talk about it and share best practices.
What about legislation when it comes to social media and catfishing, etc.? Are there legislation here to protect children?
They have, based on the penal code, but outside of that, when it comes to just the bullying in school, we do not have regulations. But when it comes to if it becomes a crime, like an adult with a child, then they would come in. It has to be really a crime. And then you also need to have so much proof before they really go and investigate, because the case that I was telling you about, up to now, they have not investigated and given an answer on that case. And according to the parents, they took their phones. They were, they were very rough on that child. And so it was like, next time I will not come forward. They don't want to hear anything. They don't want to answer any more questions. So we have to learn and understand how to go about this. And this also goes for when we come to battered women. They are also often victimized again when it comes to the police, where we, have persons who have said, hey, when I go there, they would question me. Instead of listening to me about what I am going through, I am becoming the one that has done wrong. Like it's turned around. So we really have to look at our system and, deal with certain aspects to get it right. And to make sure that they are not victimized over again, but that we provide the necessary help as the police and the public prosecutor.
10-10-10 was when the Ombudsman for St. Martin started, right? So we 14 years now?
Yeah, almost, or 13.
Yeah, going on 14, because this year, October 10, will make...
2024.
Yeah. It's amazing in 14 years what has happened. If someone said to you, what are the 3 things you as Ombudsman of St. Martin would like to see change that will make your work more productive and beneficial to the public?
Number 1, I would like to ask the government, departments, ministries to respond to the public. Respond, answer letters, answer them. Number 2, deal with the personnel aspect. That is something that has been there for so long, that we cannot, again, keep saying we don't have staff, something has to be done with that. Get the right personnel. And what would be my third thing? Recommendations, of course. Follow up on our recommendations. Follow up on our, not only agree, but implement, execute, put in the laws in place, make policies, and that would promote good governance in the end and enhance the service to the public. And that is what it is all about. And it is not only for the public, it's for all of us, even you as a civil servant who is working, because you too might need the service of, government service, where you yourself will then see, hey, this is not the way. So that would be it in a nutshell. And of course, to provide the necessary information that is needed for us to do our investigations. Because if we don't get the information, we are not able to do the investigation. And according to our law, government has a duty, an obligation to provide information, and we have a right to ask for information.
But you've done a lot of investigations over the years.
Yes, we have. But sometimes it is very difficult to get information, or the information that we need, or when we ask on the non-responses. That is something that need to be improved.
Of all the investigations that your office have conducted, which one stands out most?
The outreach, the outreach that we did in 2019, when we really went into the field, spoke to the people, saw their cry, their hurt. I mean, I myself got very emotional. I'm proud of the video that we were able to make from those that were willing to tell their story, and that through it, that at least, a little push, or we got clarity as to why things were not moving as fast as they should, and that we learn from those mistakes that we have made. For instance, that because of a lack of data, that a lot of the institutions, the NGOs were not able to meet their targets, all that they had set out to do. And I mean a big difference there, like thousands. For instance, if they had set to repair 5,000, they only got to repair 2,000. So that is a big difference because of the information that was lacking. Most of them provided material, thinking that through jollification they would fix it, but that was not the case. The expertise that was needed to fix those roofs, they underestimated that. So they saw that, hey, the material was still lying around after so long. What is the problem? Yeah. And so they had to go back to the drawing table and take a different approach.
But even schools are still not repaired.
Yes. Even schools. What I will say, definitely, from our investigation and up to now, what we have seen, that the World Bank or the
NRPB?
is NRPB or the World Bank is not the right instance not the right
organization.
Sorry?
Organization, you're saying?
Organization, let's say organization, to use to when it comes to repairing roofs, and home repair, because of their complexities of procedures.
The process
was so slow. Before the NRPB really got moving, it was, I think, in 2020. But the hurricane was 2017. We did our investigation in 2019. So 2 years further, thousands of people still with a leaking roof or as if the hurricane had just hit. So that, I would say, was not the right choice to make for home repair. Maybe for other projects on long term, but for home repair, I think we should have done it differently.
Yeah. Anything else you want to update us on that I didn't ask you about?
Not really. We are... I did want to say, yes, one more thing is about a little concern, but I have decided to have a meeting with the chief of police, Mr. Carl John. But what we have seen is that there are a lot of complaints regarding filing a complaint with the police, whether it is a complaint against a police officer, complaints regarding issues that you have with someone else, or if you want a process verbal. It seems that there is not a clear a way of how to file a complaint. There is a portal. Sometimes then we would hear, oh, the portal is not the way, you have to send it to the chief, or there is a form. We have even had people who went to the police station and where they were told, no, you can't file a complaint. It is not against other officers. No, you can't file a complaint. It's not that it's not allowed, but they just wouldn't allow them to file their complaint. Some would even send them to the Ombudsman, go to the Ombudsman. We had a person that we said, go, you could file your complaint. When they couldn't file, had to call different other police officers who then eventually had to come down the stairs to help this person to file a complaint.
But they're duty bound to accept that. They have to.
Yes. So seemingly there is an issue with filing complaints. In the past, it was okay, but now it has come to a point again where we don't know where to go. And I think that is something that is very important.
You know, Madam Ombudsman, I'm not too happy at times with the work that police officers are doing. But I think they're doing a great job given the circumstances that they're working under harsh, terrible conditions.
Yes.
I mean, if you go into the police station and the environment where they're working, you want your people in law enforcement also to have certain things. And it seems as if the authorities just forget about the police officers. So therefore, when they go to work, they're not in the best of mood, some of them, and I can understand why. I'm not defending here, but I'm being practical.
Right.
The authorities need to look into some of the basic needs and requirements of police officers, because if it continues like this, it's going to get worse.
I do agree with that, but even so, you have to do your work. You have to be able to tell the public how they could file a complaint. That is it's maybe a procedure that you put in place. Exactly, hey, these are the steps. If it is against the police, if it's against the chief, how do I file a complaint? These are basic things that are supposed to be in place. I understand what you are saying, but these are just, and for instance, we also had, I hope I'm not going over time, but we also had, we did an investigation on confiscation of vehicles, where we explained to the police that if you have maybe even a brochure or a flyer outlining the steps, what your procedures are once your car is confiscated, it would help so much more. People are going back and forth, sent to and fro.
Can't even find their car sometimes, right?
A registry, a place where you have the keys to the cars, or these are not things that cost a lot of money, you know. And it could help. It could help in these situations just to have a policy explaining what are the steps to do when your car get confiscated, who to go to.
So you're going to meet the top cop at the police department, right?
Yes, and he is willing, he is open, and he is willing to address these aspects. I did say that I would like to, have a talk with him, and hopefully, we can come to a clear procedure in place, how to file a complaint.
I have a lot of family that are police officers, not in St. Martin, but in other parts of the world. And I understand what you're saying too. And sometimes, the morale. I think the morale of our police officers in St. Martin right now is very low.
Very low.
What's the problem? Why? I can't tell you. But we have to take a look at the morale of our police officers, because if it stays like this, in the end, it's the public that's going to pay a price for it.
Yes,
They're human beings like all of us.
Yes, we do.
And we can't allow that morale to continue at the level it is right now.
Yeah.
Maybe I shouldn't be saying this, but
I'm sure they are very frustrated. I know. And the process is taking time, and it takes, some time. But, like the Dutch say, roeien met de riemen die je hebt. In the meantime, but we must come up with solutions, of course, which it is ongoing.
Yeah.
And actually, it is not only the police officers, but civil service on a whole. We have to look at our civil servants. If we want them to really function optimum, we also have to take care of their remunerations. There are persons that are working in positions where they're not getting paid for. They have been promised, but up to now, for years, doing double positions, holding double positions.
Giving titles without the pay.
Yep. Those are the things, or maybe they have, they owe them for a certain amount of time that they didn't pay them,
Yeah.
We have several complaints. We have several HR complaints. So these are things definitely have to be looked at, because you want them to be happy.
Exactly.
You want them to be happy.
Because when you go now as a citizen, you're going to feel the brunt of that rat that comes at you from them.
Yes.
And you don't realize why. It's because of what you just mentioned.
Exactly. And they are frustrated.
Yeah.
They are frustrated. And we have seen a lot of persons leave government.
Oh, yeah. Record numbers in the last few years.
Yeah. So that is something that we really have to look into and really take measures.
An ombudsman, when you see people leave in the civil service, then you know there's a problem. The reason I tell you that, I remember I left when I was head of the Government Information Service from 1987 to 1997. When I left in 1997, very few people would just walk away from a civil service job. Today now, you're seeing so many people just say, forget about it, they're leaving. That tells you how bad it is.
Yes. Yeah, and it is the conditions under which they work. Some don't have a phone, or you don't have the tools that you need. It's a combination. Combination. But when it comes to salary, of course, that touches.
Especially in difficult times. So what else happening in your world as ombudsman?
So that is let's there is so much. I mean, we could go on and on and on, but in a nutshell, those are a few of the things that we are busy with encountering and trying to assist where we can.
All right, that's great.
Yes.
Well, again, I want to thank you for coming in and being with us here and speaking about our thing. Always a pleasure to have you.
Always a pleasure to be here.
All right, thanks. That's the Ombudsman of St. Martin, Ombudsman Mossel, on Speaking About Everything on Facebook, YouTube, and on Hot 99.9 FM radio. See you next time. Take care. Bye.